Good morning. I'm Jimmy Fremgen, and this is Politics for People. Today we are at one of my favorite places in Sacramento, Marie's Donuts. I'm terrible at remembering to plug my Patreon, which is the only way that I can support these videos and upgrade my microphone and hopefully someday buy a real-life teleprompter instead of the pieces of tag board and hot glue that I have. So if you would like to join a handful of already fantastic people, which I'm listing right here, that are supporting this channel, I'd be very grateful if you go to patreon.com/jfrem or Jimmy Fremgen. I can't remember which. I'm really bad at this. I'll put the address below. I'd be very grateful. You can give me a $3 high five. You can give me $10 super support. Thank you so much for those of you that are already helping. I'm so grateful to you. And those of you that are thinking about helping, I'd really appreciate it. Today, the federal government narrowly avoided a shutdown, but most of us have no idea what a federal shutdown would even mean. A federal shutdown is when the federal government runs out of budgeting. It doesn't mean they've run out of money, it means they're running out of budgeting. Basically, the budget only allows you to pay the bills up until a certain point. This year, it was yesterday, December 20th, and they had to pass a number of different things to keep the budget going so that, like, they could mail your grandma's Social Security check and your nephew could go to the Lincoln Memorial over Christmas break. So how does that happen? Members of Congress and the president can't decide on how the money is spent. And government shutdowns happen more often than they should, to be honest. They happened during President Obama's administration, they happened during President Clinton's administration, during Reagan's administration, during Trump's administration, certainly. It always comes out of just an argument over how to actually spend the money. It's not usually whether the money is there or able to be spent. It's whether you want to spend it on like Project A versus Project B, or whether you want to allow the money to be spent on a certain type of program, like maybe women's health care. When I worked on Capitol Hill, I lived through a shutdown. As a federal employee, I was affected. The reason that one happened in the first place was a group of members of Congress, in this case, they were led by Senator Ted Cruz, got together in a restaurant across the street from the Capitol called Tortilla Coast, where we used to sneak over to get margaritas after work. And they sat down and had a summit and decided they were gonna shut down the government over one of their pet issues. I think it was Obamacare. And because those members of Congress refused to vote on a budget, everything came to a halt. You have to decide, when you can only pay some of the bills, which of those bills are essential and which of those bills are non-essential. In my case, my paycheck was declared essential because I was serving a group of people that lived in the district in Baltimore that we represented. There were other people that were not essential, even inside Capitol Hill where I worked. Because our committee that I was on was not holding hearings, they were deemed non-essential. So they went home. They were off for 2 weeks, and there were lots of federal employees like them that were sitting at home with no idea if they were going to get paid or not. So how do government shutdowns end? Or more importantly, how do we prevent them? We have to compromise. And usually what happens is members of Congress end up agreeing that maybe they want to spend a little bit less money on a certain program that they really care about, or maybe they don't care quite so much about blocking the funding to a different program, because the greater good of keeping up those programs like medical care for veterans, reimbursements for federal aid programs, servicing student loans, all of these things need to happen whether politicians in DC agree or not. And so usually somebody has to cave or even compromise, but that's okay, because compromising means that things get done. So after a while, when people eventually actually do policy that helps the American people, we get a budget. Things get to reopen, and the world goes on. Hey, I'm also bad at doing this part. Please go like and subscribe. And when I say that, I mean press the red subscribe button down below, hit the thumbs up button, and if you comment, it does this thing in the YouTube algorithm. We're all about beating the machines. Help me beat the machines. Like, comment, subscribe. See you soon.